On the news tonight, Governor Inuaya approves new cluster for scrap dealers along Bajoga Road. Gombe government dispatches assessment team as Bauchi attack victims seek refuge in Akashore. Welcome to 25 News. My name is Ibrahim Tal. The Gombe State government has allocated 7 hectares of land to the Bola Jari Group as association of second-hand and scrap traders to establish a new trading cluster along Bajoga Road. Governor Mahmoud Inuaya, represented by the Commissioner for Commerce, Trade and Industry, Alhaji Nasir Mohamed Aliu, made this known during an inspection of the new site. He said the allocation demonstrates government's commitment to improving livelihood of traders and creating a more organized business environment. The Commissioner urges members of the association to support government policies and programs to ensure sustained development.
Mai girma gwamna a cikin basira irin tasa bayan mun yi meeting muka maki recommendation aka duba aka kan cewa to yanzu za mu musu cluster nasu ya kasance su ne kowa na ganin kowa sannan kuma ya kasance shine kadai muhallin da za a yi wani abu na raka na bola jari a wurin ba za a yi abu ina ba to idan aka yi shi za a zagaye shi a yi fence a yi da komai yanda duk wanda ya zo a nan zai sannan lodi ba za a loda wani kaya na bola jari fitar da jihar Gombe sai ta nan wurin.
Also speaking, the Director General of the Gombe Geographical Information System, Gorgeous Dr. Kabir Usman Hassan, described the location as strategic for the development of modern trading cluster. He disclosed that the site will include facilities such as a modern abattoir, a mini police station, access road, among other infrastructure aimed at boosting economic activities and improving security in the area. In his remarks, representative of the traders, Alhaji Abdullahi Elijah, expressed appreciation to the state government, saying the gesture gives members a sense of belonging and will help address issues related to miscreants. The state chairman of the Second-Hand Traders Association, Alhaji Adamu Aliu, also thanked the governor for what he described as end of years of hardship. He said the new cluster will enhance Bola Jari business operation in Gombe and pledge the total loyalty and cooperation of members to the present administration.
muna shirye da wabbi 100% kuma za samu ci gaba muna mishi kuma zai ga canji insha Allah mai kyau.
Ya wannan wuri zai inganta kasuwancin.
Ya wannan gaskiya zai inganta kasuwancin mu sosai saboda wannan mu abu ne wanda muke nema tun bai abu ne wanda mu farin ciki muke da shi saboda muna da karancin wurare wasu suna da sun fi sana'a ba su da wurare ba mu samu wannan sana'a samun wurin zai kara sa wasu samu wurare kuma za su samu tsaro barnan da ake yi a boye da yanzu in ka zo shiga da kaya kuma suna da sun tantance ka dauka ana kallo sai da bayan da ake mana ganin mutanen banza insha Allah yanzu zamu zama wannan labarin zai kai insha Allah.
Muna mika godiyar mu ga mai girma gwamna Alhaji Muhammad Inuaya dan majan Gombe na farko akan wannan gagarumin gudumawa da ya bamu wanda muka jima muke nema sannan kuma da kuma commissioner na trade commissioner na trade duka Allah ubangiji ya saka da alkhairi muna.
The inspection was attended by security personnel, directors from the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, officials of Gorges, and leaders of the Bola Jari Group. Following insurgent attack on several communities in Al-Kalari local government area of Bauchi State, the Gombe State government has dispatched a multi-sectoral assessment team to Kashiri community in Aku local government area to evaluate the condition of displaced persons who fled to the area. The team led by the Commissioner for Special Duties and Regional Integration, Shehu Yerima Abdullahi, includes representative of key humanitarian and emergency response organizations. Correspondent Shaib Umar's report.
What appears to be a large gathering in Kashire is neither a political event nor the usual bustle activity of the popular Kashire market. Instead, it is a crowd of displaced persons from about 20 communities in neighboring Bauchi State who were forced to flee their homes following insurgent attacks. Local authorities say more than 6,000 displaced persons have so far been documented at the main camp, with additional numbers spread across 2 other temporary shelters within Kashere district. Despite the scorching heat and the ongoing Ramadan fast period, many of the displaced persons have no shelter to protect them from the harsh weather. Basic facilities within Kashere community and surroundings are overstretched, as residents and authorities struggle to cope with the influx.
Wallahi barayi suka koro mu da kyar muka fito daga mu zannuwan jikin mu duka haka muka fito dukiyar mu duk sun kore mana abincin mu duk sun kwashe mana gidajen mu sun kona mana haka muka fito awakin mu dukiyar mu gaba ɗaya haka muka duro gari sai da gwamnati ta taimaka mana na ake ta ba mu sadakar ka kuma ita ma taimaka mana tana ba mu abinci muna ci
amma har gona magana kan ba mai kyau bane wallahi sai kuma mai fatan ubangiji Allah ya kama saukin shi.
The Central Primary and Junior Secondary School in Kashere, currently serving as the main temporary camp, is already overcrowded, with classrooms and open space occupied by displaced families. Children in the camp are among the most vulnerable, with many facing hunger and inadequate access to essential services.
And we have some interventions from the Gombe State government, the NEMA, the individuals, then Bauchi State government, also the Ministry of Humanitarian and what have you.
The Gombe State government says it is considering measures to decongest the camp and provide basic humanitarian support to the affected persons. Meanwhile, academic activities at the Kashere Central Primary and Junior Secondary School have been suspended temporarily to allow authorities manage the situation and make arrangements for relocation. For many of the victims, prayers for peace and return to normal life remain their greatest hope.
Rayuwa sai dai a hankali malai mun gode Allah.
Muna roƙon Allah ubangiji Allah ba mu lahiya da zaman lahiya.
Bukatar mu a tallafa a taimaka mana da abin da za mu ci kuma abin da za mu nemi sana'a za mu samu zaman lafiya a tallafa mana a ceci rayuwar mu.
Commissioner for Special Duties and Regional Integration Shehu Yerima Abdullahi, alongside the Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency, Abdullahi Aruna Abdullahi, assured the displaced persons that government is committed to addressing their immediate needs.
The idea of coming here is to see the effect of how the government can reactivate this place for the betterment of the IDPs.
All of us were here at the beginning of this issue of influx of IDP. We have assessed, and a lot of intervention were here, especially from the philanthropists, the government of Bauchi State, the government of Gombe State. All of us, we came with a lot of intervention.
Members of the multi-sectoral team say their visit will enable each agency to determine the urgent interventions required based on the realities on ground.
My name is Dr. Umar Musa Kwame, a sanitation expert, Chief of Gombe State Environmental Sanitation Protection Agency. Sanitation is very vital, it's key for the survival. Looking at the situation where our IDPs are, the entire premises is saturated with open defecation. So they defecate in open, they shit in open. This is a likely tendency for causing an outbreak of the diseases such as cholera, among others.
NEDC, North-East Development Commission na Gombe State Office. Muka ya ba da instruction cewa a ba su kayan abinci da su barguna da su ne duk kuma mun turo. To kuma taimako baya kaɗan baya yawa. So bara a rasa yanzu wasu abubuwan da za mu iya ƙara musu ba.
Shaib Umar, GMC News.
The Gombe State Commissioner for Information, Culture and Ethical Orientation, Mijin Yawa Ardo Tilde, has called on the newly elected executives of the All Progressive Congress, APC, to work diligently towards strengthening and advancing the party in the state. Speaking in an interview in his office, Tilde attributed the peaceful and successful conduct of the Congress to the leadership style of Governor Inua Yahaya. The commissioner described smooth exercise as a major achievement for the APC, saying it reflects the continued unity of the party in Gombe State without internal divisions. The chairman of the Human Rights Civil Liberties Organization in Gombe State, Comrade Mohammed Ali Waya, says public awareness campaign against gender-based violence in the state are beginning to yield positive results. Comrade Wire stated this while speaking with correspondent Mohammed Ibrahim Pantami.
Comrade Wire said sensitization efforts by civil society organizations and other stakeholders have helped reduce cases of gender-based abuse in the state.
Government, religious leaders, traditional leaders, all put hand on decks to see that this thing has been stopped. So we are making a great awareness and we are achieving.
However, he called on governments at all levels to ensure strict enforcement of laws against offenders. According to him, prosecuting and punishing those found guilty will serve as strong deterrent to others and further reduce, possibly eliminate the problem.
But the problem is the government. When you put a death penalty either by hanging or firing squad, it is the duty of the government to sign that law, that judgment. But they are not doing it. When you go to the prison now, the correction center, you will have so many people that they are put to condemn to death, but they are living. They are even making trade. So there are no deterrent there. If the government can implement the judgment, thing will be less.
Comrade Wires also reaffirmed the organization's commitment to continue educating the public on the dangers of gender-based violence. Muhammad Ibrahim Pantami, GMC News.
The chairman of Duku local government area, Alhaji Adamu Mohammed Waziri, has commended the FAIDA Community Development Initiative Foundation for organizing a women's empowerment program in the area. The commendation was conveyed by the councillor representing Kunde Ward, Abubakar Dairu Chiroma Kunde, during the distribution of empowerment materials at Central Primary School, Duku. The council chairman thanked the foundation for supporting women in the area and urged beneficiaries to make proper use of the equipment to improve their livelihood. In a welcome address, the program officer of the foundation, Habiba Isa, guided a call on the Duku Local Government Council to establish more skills acquisition centers in rural communities to further empower women. Also speaking, the executive director of the FAIDA Community Development Initiative, Mariam Simon Karga, said the items were provided free of charge to support women's group. In a vote of thanks on behalf of the Emir of Duku, Alhaji Haruna Rashid II, the district head of Butaki, Alhaji Abubakar Abdul Qadir Rashid Dan Isa Duku, called on well-to-do individuals to complement government effort by supporting livelihood programs. The divisional police officer of Duku, Nura Suleiman, alongside Bappa Jalo Bappa G, advised beneficiaries not to sell the items, stressing that the equipment was meant to benefit women's groups and their communities. 14 women's groups from different communities in the local government benefited from the program. Items distributed include sewing machines, water pumping machines, shoe polishing machines, and knapsack sprayers. The Women Fellowship of the Evangelical Church Winning All Ekwa Gombe District Church DCC has commenced its 40th annual conference in Bajoga, Funakai local government area of Gombe State. The 3-day conference, which runs from March 5th to March 7, 2026, brings together women from various Ekwa churches across the district under the theme, Keep Your Lamps Burning, drawn from the book of Luke chapter 12, verses 30-5. Speaking at the opening ceremony, the Gombe DCC Women Fellowship leader, R.S. Rachel Stephen Leka, said the conference is aimed at strengthening the spiritual lives of women, encouraging steadfastness in faith, and promoting unity among members of the fellowship. Mrs. Luka urged women to remain spiritually alert and committed to the work of God, describing the theme as a reminder of the need for preparedness and faithfulness, especially in challenging times.
Let me request that you consider your being here for these few days an opportunity to be revived, refreshed, and renewed for church growth and God's glory. Hence, keep your lamps burning now and always.
In her sermon, In a sermon, the guest speaker, Reverend Ibrahim Sule Abba, called on teams to keep their spiritual lamps burning.
Burning. The theme is about light. The essence of talking about keeping your lamps burning, because God desires to see light in the world. Wannan kan magana ce ta haske. Allah yana bukatan haske. Yana so ƴaƴan haske su bayana.
He urged Christians to remain steadfast in their faith and prepare for the second coming of Jesus Christ. In a related development, the Equa Women Fellowship Annual Conference of Kalchingo District Church Council, DCC, declaring the conference open, the Kalchingo DCC Chairman, Reverend Lelas E. Bulus, charged the women to remain attentive and make the most of their spiritual lesson and activities lined up for the events. Also speaking, the Kalchingo DCC Women Fellowship leader, Mrs. Asabe Dombe, explained that the Equa team for this year's builds on the spiritual significance of last year's team, Seek Me and You Will Find Me. She noted that having found God, believers must strive to keep their spiritual lamps burning in order to remain spiritually relevant. Mrs. Dombe further advised women to remain united, security conscious, and to maximize opportunities provided during the conference for both personal and spiritual growth. In his sermon, the guest speaker, Reverend Ayuba Jato of Equa LC Okra Kalchingo, urged women to allow their spiritual lamps to illuminate their homes and positively impact their communities, emphasizing that Christianity is a daily practice and not something reversed for yesterday or tomorrow. Reverend Jato explained that for believers to keep their lamps burning, their spirit must remain connected to God's Spirit, just as the wick draws kerosene from the lamp's tank to produce light. Without that connection, he said, illumination will be lost. He also cautioned women against showing greater honor to clerics than their husbands at home, describing such behavior as mere eye service that can extinguish spiritual zeal. The Gombe State leader of the Muslim Islamic movement of Nigeria, Sheikh Mohammed Adamu Abore, has called on Muslims youth to avoid idleness and engage in productive activities while pursuing both Islamic and Western education. Sheikh Abare made the call during his Ramadan Tafsir session held at Gudum Wadan Pantami in Gombe. He emphasized that acquiring knowledge and learning a trade will help young people become self-reliant and contribute positively to the development of the society. The cleric also urged Muslims to intensify prayers and acts of worship as the holy month of Ramadan continues, so they can benefit from the blessings and spiritual reward associated with the sacred month. Philanthropies and organizations have been urged to support orphans and the less privileged, especially during the holy month of Ramadan. The appeal was made by Alhaji Mohammed Baba Mabani during the distribution of food items to vulnerable persons by the Khalifatul Muhabba Islamic Foundation Gombe State Chapter held at the Education Resource Center in Gombe. Alhaji Mabani said traditional leaders in the state continue to support humanitarian initiatives in line with the examples of the Emir of Gombe, Dr. Abubakar Shehu Bakar III. He also encouraged the foundation to expand its programs to include youth empowerment through small-scale businesses support in order to address challenges facing young people. Speaking on behalf of the National Feeding Committee Chairman Malam Munir Gosa, a community member, Malam Musa Muhammad, said the initiative was part of the vision of the foundation's leader, Sheikh Ibrahim Ahmed Makari, to support the less privileged across the country. He commended the Gombe chapter for its effort in ensuring that beneficiaries observe the Ramadan fast with ease. In an address, the state coordinator, Malam Yakub Ahmed Mabani, disclosed that over 300 beneficiaries from different parts of Gombe State receive food items. He added that the foundation also visits orphans, correctional centers, and hospitals as part of its humanitarian activities. Other speakers urged wealthy individuals to emulate the gesture while advising youths to acquire vocational skills for self-reliance and obtain their voters' card in order to elect credible leaders. The event also featured advice to couples on patience and mutual support to promote peaceful family life. To end the news, a recap of some of the major stories. We reported that the Gombe State government has allocated 7 hectares of land to scrap collectors, popularly known as the Bola Jari Group, to establish a new cluster for their activities. The new site located along Bajoga Road in Gombe was inspected by government officials and members of the Bola Jari Group as part of effort to properly organize the activities of scrap collectors in the state. We also brought to you a report that following insurgent attacks on several communities in Al-Kalari local government area of Bauchi State, the Gombe State government has dispatched a multi-sectorial assessment team to Kashere community local government area to evaluate condition of displaced persons who fled to the area. The team led by the Commissioner for Special Duties and Regional Integration, Shehu Yerima Abdullahi, includes representative of key humanitarian and emergency response organization. That is the news on GMC TV. My name is Ibrahim Tal. Stand by for the House of Baba Abubakar.